Hello, welcome back to the An American Living in Canada YouTube channel. I have two things to talk about today. The first part is the provincial elections in Ontario, which took place last week, and the second part will focus on the tariff issue. All right, so Premier Ford won election for the third straight time. The first time an Ontario party leader has done so since 1959. He campaigned entirely on the pitch that he was the best party leader in Ontario to stand up to Trump's tariff threats, which now has become a reality within the past 12 hours. He won a very comfortable majority, increased his majority by one seat. Now, there's some debate as to whether the election should have gone forward just for an increase in one seat, but the election serves as a temperature check of the Canadian public, and he got a resounding affirmation of his position with respect to the tariff issue. The federal party leaders will be looking at the results of this election and recalibrating their messaging for the upcoming federal elections, which has not yet to be scheduled. But there's no doubt the Canadian public are going to be putting enormous pressure on their provincial party leaders across all provinces, as well as the federal officers, to respond to Trump's tariff threats, or tariffs. So we are now entering a new dynamic, which is really unfortunate from the viewpoint of Canadian-American relations. We're entering a very unfortunate time because trade wars bite both ways. The average Canadian and American citizen are going to be hurt by this, with increased cost of living, increased interest rates, and increased inflation. All of this is unnecessary, I think. The second part, as I alluded to earlier, concerns the upcoming federal elections. The date of the federal election has not been picked yet, has not been set yet. The one thing that has to happen is for the Liberal Party to settle the leadership race. The final vote on the leadership race will be taking place on Sunday, March 9th. Once the new Liberal Party leader is selected, then it's off to the races as far as the federal elections are concerned. What's interesting is that a few months ago, the Progressive Conservative Party had a 25-point lead over the Liberal Party here in Canada. That has shrunk considerably to the 2 or 3 point range. I think it's within the margin of error. So, very interesting dynamics as to who's going to put out the best message, the most convincing, persuasive message to the Canadians as far as the trade war that is starting right now. Will it be Pierre Poilievre, or will it be the next Liberal Party leader, whoever it is? But there's no question the Canadians are looking to hit back. And as I said earlier in the video, this is really unfortunate. We will see how the trade war plays out. There's no question that Canada will be hit hard by this because 20% of the Canadian GDP relies on exports and relationships with the American economy. At the same time, China, Canada, Mexico are imposing retaliatory tariffs on the U.S. And if Trump imposes tariffs on the European Union, we can expect the European Union to impose tariffs on the U.S. Again, this is unfortunate because that means you have 4 different countries or regions imposing retaliatory tariffs on the U.S. On the surface of it, retaliatory tariffs are not good for the U.S., but in the longer term, those countries and regions are going to be hedging their bets as far as future relations are concerned, and that may not necessarily be good for the U.S. So let's see what happens in the next few months, few years as this unfolds. As I said earlier in the video, trade wars fight both ways, and this doesn't have to happen. All right. So give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe to this channel, and we'll see you next time.